welcome to the video. This is Shelley parkrun in what's normally sunny Perth, Western Australia. But as you can see today, it is not sunny. It's very wet and humid. We've had really good running weather this winter in Perth. Every day has just been like 6-7 degrees and dry. It's been really good. But of course, the day I'm doing a time trial, it's humid and a bit warmer. So it's about 16 degrees Celsius and 100% humidity. But that's okay. The conditions are still good. The wind isn't too bad. Well, that's fine. So the purpose of today is, well, to do a fitness test, to see where I'm at, to see what training paces I should be running at going forward. So the last time I ran this exact course was 8 weeks ago, and I did it in 19 minutes 10, which was disappointing, but not surprising. It was my first fitness test coming back after an injury, so I knew I wasn't going to be in great shape. But that didn't feel good. So 19:10 was my previous time 8 weeks ago coming into today. So certainly hoping to break that. But again, the goal isn't to get a PB. It's just to see where I'm at. And coming into it, I wasn't really sure how to approach it because I've been doing the Norwegian Singles Approach the last 4 weeks, which has meant that I haven't done any 5K specific work. I've only been doing sub-threshold intervals and easy running. So I haven't actually been running at 5K pace for 5 or 6 weeks now. So I wasn't quite sure where my fitness was. So I decided to go out at about 3:47 per K and see where I'm at after there. So I'm actually going to jump forward and talk about the results now because there's a bunch to talk about here. So it was a really great day. I managed to negative split every single K. So every K was faster than the previous. And just look at those splits. Doesn't that make you ever so slightly aroused? Just me? I don't know. But I was really happy with this execution. So happy with how strong I finished. So the last 2 Ks, I closed averaging 3:37 per K, which for me is just really, really good. I've never been in that kind of shape in my life. So many encouraging things to come from here. And so this first K, as I said, I wanted to take it out at 3:47 and see what happened. And, you know, it wasn't feeling amazingly comfortable in this first K, but I find that's always the case with me. Even though I do a proper warm-up, it still takes a good 1,500 meters for me to really warm up. So my warm-up consists of 10 minutes of easy running, and then I do 1 minute at threshold with another 2 minutes easy running, another minute at threshold, another 2 minutes of easy running, and then 30 seconds at 5K pace, and then another couple of minutes of easy running, and probably some strides and drills after that. So I do a proper warm-up, but it still, I find, takes about 1,500 meters. So I still don't really know where I'm at the moment. It's feeling okay, but I wouldn't say I'm feeling good. So one of the reasons why I didn't really know where I was at coming into this race is something strange happened last week in my training. I experienced a really big jump in my paces for the same effort. Now, people who have started this Norwegian Singles Approach training before, you know, this is a really common thing. They say after 6 to 8 weeks, you'll experience a really big jump in fitness. And it's only been 4 weeks at this race, so just coming through the first K, there you go. I stuck to the plan exactly. 3:47 for that first K. Yeah, so people's experience has been when doing this sub-threshold training is that after 6 to 8 weeks, they experience a really big jump in fitness. I've only been doing this for 4 weeks, and that really doesn't feel like a very long period of time. So I wasn't expecting anything really in terms of a big jump in fitness. And so when I experienced all these faster paces during the week in training, I put it down to the change in shoes because I changed shoes during the week. So I have been training in the Nike Zoomfly 6s, doing my interval sessions in those. And I just got so sick of them. They were completely dead, nothing left in them. I just wasn't enjoying running in them at all. And so I started training in my Vaporflies. And as soon as I headed out the door for an interval session, I just thought, oh, hello. It was very different, like lots of bounce, lots of energy return, just completely different feeling. And that interval session I did, well, the first one in the Vaporflies, it was amazing. Like, all the intervals were like 5 to seconds per K faster than last time I did it. But for less effort. My heart rate was lower, my perceived effort was lower, and I was much less beaten up. Like, I felt like I hadn't even done a session afterwards. So because it had been so soon after starting this method, I didn't actually put it down to a change in real fitness. I put it down to a change in the shoes. But I mean, I did think it was surprising because it was a big jump, and it wasn't just that one session, it was every session in that week. But after this race today, or race, it's parkrun, after parkrun, I mean, it's got to be a combination of the two, because like I say, I've never run like this before. To finish the last 2Ks in 3:37 is really great. So I finished the race, I think my official time was 18:43, and I averaged 3:42 per K across the 5Ks. That can't be just down to the shoes, because remember, only 8 weeks ago I averaged, I think it was 3:51 or 3:53 per K across the 5K. So massive difference. Now, I mean, we'll never know. It's hard to tell, because yes, I probably did have, whereas it wasn't this level of fitness before my injury, it would have been approaching this level. And so there's probably a sense in which that fitness comes back, you know, a little bit quicker. But, you know, it's only been 8 weeks, and to have this jump in fitness was really, really cool. So coming up for the second K now and splitting it in 3:46. So at this point, I know it's going to be a good day. I'm feeling much more comfortable. It's feeling pretty easy. It's feeling easier than the first 1500. So I start to consciously trying to squeeze it down, basically. I know there's plenty left to give. I know I'm probably going to surprise myself with what I can run today. So you're concentrating on trying to stay relaxed, running with good form, trying to run a good line, and yeah, just enjoy the day and keep pushing. I find it takes a lot of mental energy to stay on it and keep pushing yourself, especially when you're not running with anyone. As you can see, there's no one to chase, there's no pack to be in, so it takes a lot of concentration to stay on it. And I'm really conscious that I don't want my mind to drift and effort levels to drift, because I know that, yeah, I can do something hopefully pretty special for me anyway today. But there are so many encouraging things to come from this run. The fact that I'm 9 weeks out from Perth Marathon, which is my next A race, and to be in this kind of shape, to make this progress, it's really exciting. And again, I'm only 4 weeks into this Norwegian singles training, so I've got every reason to think that there's a lot more progress to come over the next 9 weeks. So I am just super excited. And it's just so good to feel like I'm making progress. It's been so long. Like, I have worked so hard over the last year and have made no progress. And that's due to a number of factors, you know, injury and stuff. But bottom line is, I haven't PB'd in the 5K in a year. So despite absolutely smashing myself, doing everything technically correct, you know, in terms of my sleeping, my eating.
Thank you.
There you go, coming through the halfway mark. By the way, big shout out to the marshals. I mean, look at this weather, and they're just out there, standing there. Absolute legends. Thank you. Yeah, so even though I've been taking recovery and nutrition and everything really seriously, dedicated myself to training, and to have made no progress. Oh, there's Joe. So Joe's having a good run. If you saw my previous video, he went for a big PB attempt last Sunday at the Perth Half Marathon and 5K. Didn't have a good day, so he's back today to put in a solid effort, but he's having to run by himself. Good on him. Straight back into it. Yes, as I was saying, it's just really nice to feel like I'm making progress. This is the first glimmer of hope I've had in months. Because even after I got over my recent injury and I resumed normal training, I went back to what I was doing before, and clearly it just wasn't working. To be doing lots of, well, not lots, but you know, there's really high intensity stuff, and clearly it's just not what my body needed. I needed to go back into a base building phase. So I am really excited to see where this style of training leads. I'm really enjoying it, regardless of where it leads. Like, it's just a really nice way of training where you're not destroying yourself, you know, every other day. I can function as a normal human being after a session. You know, I don't have to go and sit down and just vegetate. It's much less mentally taxing. And I enjoy just doing more sessions. So it is early days, as I say. I've only been doing it for 4 weeks. But at this stage, I am sold hook, line and sinker on the Norwegian Singles Approach, which is cool. But we'll have to see how we progress. So coming up through the 3rd K now and splitting it in 3:42. So significantly quicker. Still feeling good at this stage, which is really nice. So normally in 5Ks, I'm probably a bit over ambitious starting off, and so by this point I'm hanging on for dear life, just dying. So it is so nice to feel like I can still cut it down at this point. I mean, I'm working, don't get me wrong, but yeah, I know that I've paced this well. When I say I've paced it well, it probably isn't optimal to have negative split it this much. I probably could have run a faster time if I set off faster and held that and then tried to maybe ramp it up in the last couple of K. But I mean, I'm not complaining. This is a really enjoyable way to run a 5K where you don't feel like you're dying at any point. So yeah.
Yeah, back.
There's my daughter Rebecca going past. What a legend. There's actually lots of people out today despite the weather. I think there were still like 160, 170 odd runners, which is always cool to see. And it's funny, you know, we whinge about the weather, but you just don't notice it when you're doing an all-out effort. I mean, yeah, some of the puddles were a bit unfortunate, but I mean, because it was wet, it doesn't really come across on the video, but absolutely drenched. But you know, when you're pushing it, it really doesn't matter. 4th K now in 3:41. So still managing to cut it down. Now, at this point, of course, I am starting to hurt a bit. But nothing major, like, you know, that lactic buildup isn't killing me. My legs aren't feeling like lead. Yeah, so I'm excited to push it even more for this final K.
Come on.
Just encouraging myself there to keep going. And, you know, I've already mentioned it, but at this point, it would have been really nice to have someone to chase, because it's as much of a mental battle. You know, when you're redlined, to keep pushing when, I mean, yes, there's a reason I really want to get as big a PB as I can. I know I'm on for a PB. Yeah, but it just takes a lot of concentration to keep pushing in that final K. It doesn't sound like, you know, very long, kind of 3.5 minutes. But when you're on the edge and there's no rabbit to chase, yeah, it would have been really nice to have a pack or something, but that's okay. Maybe one day. I always think one day I'll get someone to pace me, because I think that'd be cool. I've never had a pacer for any race actually, and I've got a feeling it would make a big difference. So trying to push all the way to the end, and as I said, so happy with this whole run, but particularly this final 2 Ks actually, I averaged 3:37, which is just awesome. And you'll see in a moment when I cross the line, I actually cross at like 20 Ks an hour, which is sub 3 pace. So again, so encouraging. I can't wait to see where my fitness ends up in 9 weeks' time for that Perth Marathon. But in any case, I'm just really enjoying training now. It's so good to see progress. It's so good to have, something a bit different, something that I'm just enjoying. And yeah, if you're interested to see where all this Norwegian singles training ends up, of course, please do subscribe to the channel, and you can follow me on Strava. So over the coming weeks, probably next week, I reckon I'll do a video on the adjustments I've made for marathon training, because this style of training is good for everything from 3K right up to half marathon, but you do need to change up a little bit for the half marathon, just because of the distance and stuff. So I'll be doing a video on marathon specific adjustments, also on my strength training and lots of other things. So it'd be great to have you join the journey and see where I end up. So yeah, and you can see all my training on Strava. Some of you already would have seen that I'm doing some different sessions than ones I've talked about so far on the channel, and that's because of marathon specific phase. So I'll just let this run through to the end now, and you can see the end. And there we go. Very happy with the run.
Thank you.
What a day. I'll see you in the next one.